Do you ever feel like you're doing everything right in the finals and somehow you're still stuck? You win fights, you drop damage, but your rank just doesn't improve. If that sounds like you, this video is going to help. What's up? I'm Kix. I'm a top 100 medium and light player. I spent a lot of time figuring out what actually makes people improve in this game. I'm not here to give you some ultimate secret that's going to double your rank overnight. There's no magic setting or hidden trick. What I'm going to show you is how progression actually works and what you should be focusing on at each level. Alright, let's start with the basics. Number 1, your loadout. I'm not going to go into a deep dive into every single loadout because that's been done a million times. But if you're gold and you're serious about ranking up, you need to put the pride aside and run the meta, or at least run the important pieces of the meta. For light, that's things like gateway, glitch, or for medium, that's defibs, or for heavy, that's C4. These items are strong for a reason. They win games. You can experiment later if you want to climb, but give yourself the best tools first. Now let's talk about timing, especially around cash outs. Cash outs are 2 minutes and 10 seconds, steals are 7 seconds, and in the final round, steals are 6 seconds. If a cash out is halfway done, you've got about a minute left. That means you have to win a team fight and complete a steal in that time if you're pushing them. And that's just basic info. But knowing that alone will not turn you into a god tier player, but that's just the basic information you really need. So let's move into intermediate. And this is what most people don't really realize, and this is what I see as like the most wrong, especially in the lower ranks. This revolves around 2 things. What does your loadout actually do? And your playstyle. So what does your loadout actually do? And the basics, I said stick to meta. And that's a good rule of thumb, but I know some of you are stubborn. You're going to run smoke and sword or something off meta anyways. And that's fine, as long as you actually understand what your loadout is built to do. Take someone like Sanguine. If you watch him, you might get confused. He runs DMAT, double movement, and explosive mines, which isn't exactly meta on any counts. But if you look closely at what his loadout does, it's selfish. He doesn't rely on anybody. He doesn't need to. You know why? Because he has double movement to engage or disengage or take angles, DMATs to escape or stall or take angles again, and explosive mines to help win 1v1s, even when someone gets the drop on him. Let's take a light. If they push up behind and hit his explosive mine, he's normally running revolver or model, and he can one-shot them after that. And it works because his loadout has a purpose. It wouldn't work without the second part, playstyle. Let's understand your playstyle. If you don't know your playstyle, here's a simple test. When do you die in fights? Are you dying first or second, or are you usually trying to stay alive as long as you can to stall? Well, if you're dying first or second, you probably have an aggressive playstyle because you're trying to get in there, get active, right? So build around that. For example, if you're playing light with invis and you're dying first every single fight, switch to dash. If you're going to play aggressive, give yourself the most amount of survivability you can. Same with medium. If you're aggressive, maybe run double movement so you can engage better, or bring goo so when you inevitably push too far, you can block yourself off and reset. And I would still run heal beam because you'll give value to your team either way. Now, if that doesn't sound like you, you're probably more passive, and that's fine. But you need to build around that too. You can play Dashlight and still be passive. But if you're not running Invis Bomb or something that can keep you out of LOS or keep you alive, you're just making your life harder. Like, let's look at Heavy, especially Akazo. Akazo doesn't play super aggressive. His loadout is built to stall. He manipulates cash outs like crazy. He'll throw them off the map, isolate them with goo, and make it miserable for teams to push. But that's what his loadout is built for. He doesn't have any entry damage. Like, he runs Pyromine, C4, and Grav Cube. And of course, goo gun. But still, like, none of that will help you engage into a fight. But that's what it's built for. He's not trying to hard engage first. He waits and lets teams push him and then stalls them out. And he stalls them out on every single front of the way. If they push him, he stalls them with goo. If they push the cash out, he stalls them with the rest of his loadout. If you try and push him as a team, he'll throw a grav cube down and then cocoon himself in goo. You see what I mean? Like, his loadout is built for that, and he plays around that. And that's why he's so high ranked. Your loadout and playstyle have to match. Imagine if he was trying to push every single person he saw with that kind of loadout. It wouldn't work because he doesn't have that RPG entry damage. He doesn't have winch to pull people close. Like, it just wouldn't happen. And once you realize that your loadout and playstyle have to match, that's when real improvement will start to happen. And then that's when you can start trying other stuff like, well, maybe I want to run grapple. Well, why would I want to run grapple? Well, that's because I want to get in and out of fights fast. Okay, well, then I want high damage. Okay, high damage. Do I want to stall? Sure, I'll bring... Like, you see where the mindset is kind of going. Like, oh, well, if I want to do this, how would I play using this? Like, you're not going to be playing long range with a double barrel, right? So you have to keep that in mind. And there's many more play styles that didn't get into, but as long as you are playing around your loadout with the play style, you know, they match and everything, you should be fine. Now let's look at macro and avoiding griefs. This is mainly for just high plat, low diamond players, and even some ruby players that I've seen. And we're talking about macro, like specifically how to avoid getting griefed. And look, there's no foolproof plan. First place will pretty much always be able to grief if they want to. But here's how you can help control tempo. If you get tap and plug on the first box, you should always look to third party the other box. That will put you ahead of tempo. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm saying if you plug first and the other team hasn't plugged yet, once your cash out is done, you should always go in third party and try and wipe the first place team. But if you're in first, you don't need to do this, right? Just keep that in mind. And let's say you do push them and you get wiped. Like, you just absolutely get shit on. Like, that's just how it goes. Well, then third party them, or push the first place team, or push the strongest team so they don't get comfortable. Because you never want to completely leave them in a situation where they can control the entire game, right? And that really comes down to the second box. If your plug is late, rotate to the other box immediately. No questions asked. And a lot of people don't really realize like how powerful this is, and if it works perfectly, how it will enable you to play the game in a different light. What do I mean by that? So let's say a team's plugged the box, it's halfway, and you just plugged the box. Well, let's say you hold that cash out and the other cash out's done. Where are they going to come? The entire lobby is going to collapse on you. And in my opinion, it's always better to be the third party rather than be the team getting pushed by two squads. And let's say you do move over there and you get the cash out. Well, guess what? Then you can come back to your old cash out and third party again. You see, kind of like if it works once, it can work again. Or if it doesn't work the first time, you have another cash out to really try for it, right? I'll make a YouTube video on how to third party properly later. But let's just keep moving on. All right, final cash box. You need first plug. And if you're not getting first plug, you really have three options. Either hold the box, force a split, or go and full hold that other box. Now, this is assuming that you're in second place. And objectively, holding the box is normally the worst option. Like, just in general. Forcing a split is almost always the best option, but it's also the hardest option because there's so many variables. I would say you should try and force a split, but if you notice you're getting pushed by two teams, you insta just leave and go fight a 3v3. And if you get first plug, guess what? You're home free. Go grief, go control the lobby, make it hard for anyone else to qualify. And it's high level macro. And like, it's not the highest level you can go, and it's not flashy by any means, but from personal experience, that will win you more games than you would think. And it's not like a get out of jail free card where you'll never get griefed, but it should help you consistently win more games, and that's what matters. And that's how you actually improve your rank in the finals. Not by copying pro clips or not by changing one setting, but by understanding your loadout, your playstyle, and the macro of the game. And if this helped, let me know what kind of videos you want to see next. The background, most of it is me playing with Rice and Abby, like on my Twitch. So feel free to hit me up there at twitch.tv/straight kicks. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out and stay healthy.